Hello, this video will cover how to do the cash flow statement on the Chapter 1 homework. Keep in mind we will cover cash flow statements on Chapter 12, so you don't actually need to know how to prepare one. However, it is part of one of the problems, so I actually gave you the solution to the WeeMee version of it. The first thing I recommend you do is go to those notes, and again, go to modules. And after you go to modules, you're going to go to the Chapter 1 module. So under the Chapter 1 module, the notes that you were supposed to print out, that was required for doing this step. And right here, require printed hard copy for your binder. That is the notes Chapter 1. And I'm going to just go ahead and download them to the system. And once I download it, I'm going to open it up in Chrome. If you're using Firefox, which I don't recommend, but if you are, you can download it from the side of the part. So you'll notice there's 5 pages of these notes, and the 5th page is the financial statement of cash flows. You'll notice it has the name of the company, and it has for the month ended June 30th. Just like the income statement and the statement of retained earnings, the date for the title or the heading of a financial is similar to like a video. It has a start point and an end point. So what I need you to do is make sure you have for the month ending or ended, or the year ended, whatever the period of time is. You'll notice that there is a cash flow from operating section. First, the increases to cash flow will be positive. The decreases, the cash going out, the outflows, would be negative, indicated by the parentheses. You'll notice that the net of all these numbers ends up being net cash provided by operating activities, a positive number. So this is provided by. Now if you go here, provided by is used when it's a positive number. Used by is used when it's a negative number. Here there's only one investing activity. It happens to be negative. That means it's causing the cash to go down. And then the third section of the cash flow statement is cash flows from financing activities. And we have a situation where we have some investment for stockholders. Equity, that means shareholders paid in capital to become owners of this corporation. So that would make sense that our cash increases by the amount of that investment. And then our dividends, you'll notice, these are dividends that are paid to our shareholders. You'll notice it has the parentheses around it to indicate it is an outflow. This is cash being paid out. Both of these activities are financing activities. And then finally, you'll see here the net, again, provided by, because the number is positive. The net of a positive 130 and a negative 4 is a positive 126. So the second column, you'll notice, in the second column, we have the net of these 3 categories. If you take your calculators out and you add these numbers up together, keep in mind this is a negative amount. The net of these 3 amounts is going to be the change in cash. So at the beginning of June 1st, the balance was 0 because it was a brand new company. The net of the operating, investing, and financing is $130,060. That's the increase. So if the beginning balance was 0, because we're a brand new company, now if we were an existing company, it would take the balance from the prior period, so the end of May 31st, any balance would be the starting point for June. Now if you take the net increase of all of these cash-related items added to the beginning balance, you will see that's how we get our ending balance. So the 0 plus the 130, this is the final number, and this is how this statement is prepared for problem 1-7B. So we're going to use this information as our resource to complete the homework for Chapter 1. So going back to the modules, scroll down to Chapter 1 homework. That is found on the, where is it? Click on the modules again. I need to be more patient. My internet connection here is a little slow. Everybody's on the internet. So now we're going to go back down to Chapter 1 homework. Let's do, and it's going to launch the problem in the Connect system. So it's taking you to a new tab. Now keep in mind, I worked on this problem earlier in the session, so I did not submit it, I just saved it for later. So I'm at 8% complete. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue, and I'm going to go to problem 12. I'm going to click on the Brady Bunch little star thing, and we're going to look for the question that was not completed, question 12. And this is the problem 1-7A, where we went through and we figured out all of these transaction details, very similar to the transaction problem that was given for the, what was it? It was given for the your class activity number 3. All right, so I'm going to scroll down because the question was regarding the cash flow statement. You should know how to do the first 3. That was in the video. I'm not going to do a repeat of that. So you'll notice here it has cash flow from operating activity, has cash flow from investing activity, and cash flow from financing activity. And then it has the balance as of May, which is the beginning of the period, and the May 31st. Now, since I know that a statement is basically going to have the same format, so I'm going to go ahead and assume there's a net increase in cash. It's possible that there is a decrease, but I just wanted to point out to you that previously in the video, as I stated, you're going to take the net of the 3 amounts you have for these 3 categories. So whatever that net amount is, and I'm hoping that the cash increase, I don't know because I don't have the actual answer, because again, all of our amounts are going to be different. But I do know that the beginning balance would be 0 for this particular company, because I believe, isn't it a brand new company? Let me check the problem. Yes, everybody should have a brand new company, so it started operations on May 1st. So that means my beginning balance, of course, will be 0. And then it'll automatically calculate based on my net increase in cash. So the first item is going to be my cash received from customers. So I'm going to type in cash received and see if it comes up. Yes. And keep in mind that this right here is a direct method of preparing the cash flow statement. As I said before, you're not going to have to know how to do this for the test, not until we get to the final and the last test in this semester. You will, however, need to know what can be found in the cash flow statement and know that the date is for the period ended, whatever the last date is of that period. I'm not going to put my amounts in because your amounts and my amounts will be different. And I'm just going to go ahead and put in the amounts that are considered operating activity. So cash paid for rent, and this you should be able to get it from your tabular analysis and see what amounts were actually paid for rent. So any cash paid for rent, and I got to spell it correctly so I can get it correctly on the. And then we'll have cash paid for cleaning. And then we'll have cash paid for telephone. Now, everything where cash is being paid, that's a negative. That means cash is going down. It's decreasing. It's an outflow. Then we'll have cash paid for telephone. And then our other 2 will be cash paid for utilities and employees. So we have our cash paid for utilities and to employees. And I think that's all we have for operating activity for the month of May. Now, you may ask, well, where am I going to get these amounts from? That means you need to go to your tabular analysis. And for example, the one paid for employees, 760 is my number, so I have 760 here on the 15th. And then I believe they were paid again, 760 on the 28th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my calculator out, and I'm going to add the 760 together, or I'm going to simply take 760 and multiply that by 2 because it was paid twice. So that's a total of 1,520 or 1520, 1,500 and 1,520. So let's see, 1520, 1520. That was to the employees. Make sure I put it next to the correct one. Now again, it's negative, so I'm going to put a negative sign in front of it, and it should automatically put the parentheses in the system, and it did. And I'll do that for all of the items that were listed. I'm not going to go through each one of those details, but you kind of get the gist of it. Now you'll notice that there's some extra lines. Now just because they give you extra lines doesn't mean you're going to use all of them. Right now, to my knowledge, there's no more, there's not any more operating related activities for a direct flow cash method. So all of these items are actually going to be negative, and the amount received from customers, since we received it, that's going to be positive. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there just so we can get a positive net number for operating. And I don't know the exact amount, but you're going to go through, and there's 2,600 here, company provided for a client on credit. Now, if it's on credit, you got to see when they actually receive the money. So it has to be the payment. So 2,600 cash paid, that's going to increase cash. 3,200 cash paid, so 2,600 plus the 3,200, that's 5,800 for this example. Again, you're going to use your numbers, not my numbers. And see, 5,800, and I'm not going to go through each one of these because I want to make sure this video is not too long, but I'm just going to put, okay, 5,800, so I'm going to assume this number is going to be wrong, so let's go ahead and just say 5,800, and I'm going to round it up just so that it is larger than the other amounts. And I'm going to go ahead and press enter. You'll see now the number is a positive number. So now when we can say cash provided by. Now again, you'll use cash used by when it's negative, cash provided by when it is positive. And this is related to operating, so I have cash flow from investing activities. So it's net cash provided by operating activities. Now the investing activities is the second category, and for that one, we did buy some equipment. Equipment is not considered operational. The purchase of the equipment is considered investing, since we're investing in equipment for the long haul to generate income and revenues for the long haul. Now, purchase of the equipment would be a negative number, and we're going to go again. You're going to use your little table, and I think there was only one equipment item purchase. Furnished office paid $2,500 cash for rent. Let's see. Rent purchase. Okay, they purchased the equipment on credit. Now, if they purchase the equipment on credit, you got to wait till they actually paid for the equipment. And I don't see where they paid for the, oh, down here, paid the $1,930. It's on the 26th for the equipment. So I'm going to go ahead and put that $1,930 on the equipment. Scroll down. And again, you're going to be using your numbers, not my numbers. Yours are going to be different, but the process will be the same. And we'll have purchase. Purchase equipment, where is it? Okay, let me see if I can find the word equipment anywhere. Equipment, okay, paid for equipment, so that's the line item we're going to use based on the options. You could have, if we weren't using Connect, you could have put down purchase equipment. And then I don't think there's anything else for investing. You'll see that the negative net is down here. And then the last section, the financing section, you're going to do investments, cash investments from shareholders. And then the other one will be your cash dividends that you are paying out. And these are going to our shareholders on record. So we have whatever amount was invested. I think it was at the very beginning. So I have $43,000. So that number is a positive number. And then my dividends would be a negative number. And I don't know if there were multiple days that dividends were declared, but I'm just going to go back and see. Utilities, go through, look for the dividends. Anybody tell me where the dividends? I know they paid some for this one. Paid $760 for the salaries. Dividends probably towards the end. Yep, towards the end on the 31st, they paid $2,000 in dividends to the owner. So let's go to put in $2,000. Again, it's being paid out, so that's a negative $2,000. And the net will be 41, and it's positive, so this will be cash provided by financing activity. And we'll make sure we have the one for investing. Cash used by investing activity. And I'm going to go ahead and check my work. Keep in mind it's incomplete. I'm just trying to give you guys a start on it. And I'll see if I can make this bigger because you can't see the whole thing at one time. Answer is not complete. Here goes the heading for Graham Company. And you'll notice that all of the amounts, of course, my amounts received are off. I didn't actually add up the numbers. And those are the amounts for the operating section. This is for the, oh, I forgot the heading. Where's the heading for financing? So I need to make sure I have the heading for, oh, here it goes. Cash flow from investing section. You'll have these items listed here. And then, of course, you'll have your cash flow from financing activity. Net amount is 41. I can't. Mouse is sensitive. Okay. So this is the financing section. And then we'll take the net of these three amounts, which ends up being $44,550. This isn't the correct amount. Again, we're incomplete, but it is calculated for you. And then it'll add to the zero. The cool thing is that your ending cash balance, it should agree to the balance you have of cash on the balance sheet. Because this is the balance of cash as of May 31st. So that concludes this video. And just remember, today is a great day to learn accounting. Any questions, post in the discussion thread for Chapter 1. Bye now.